and welcome again. Today I have a 2006 Mazda MPV with a 3.0 liter engine, automatic transmission. What happens is that this vehicle has lost a lot of power. It doesn't really want to go when the driver pushes gas. What happens is that the engine drags a lot. The engine drags a lot because it even gets to the point when it feels like it's a transmission problem, but I know it's not transmission problem. Sometimes it even doesn't want to change gears. And the worst thing is that doesn't have any codes. It's cleaned, no codes at all stored in the PCM. So in that case, it seems like a clock catalytic converter, something like that. But as I said, no code for catalytic converter, no code for anything. So in this case, I have decided I'm gonna do a catalytic converter pressure, back pressure test first. That's the first thing I'm gonna be doing, and I'm gonna be doing the first and the front because the most is more accessible than the one in the rear. And if that checks out good, that doesn't create pressure and the pressure gauge, I'm gonna go for the rear one, cylinder head number 1, bank 1. That's more difficult. We're gonna if we get to that one, we'll do it through the top here without taking out the intake manifold. If both catalytic converters are not clogged, they check out good, then I'm gonna go to do some spark test. I'm gonna check the ignition coil packs, but it has lost a lot of power. The minivan has lost a lot of power, and it shakes, it vibrates a lot. Maybe it sounds for me like catalytic converters, clock catalytic converters, or either ignition coil packs. So let's see what happens. Screws here, these are Phillips, and very easy, the front here. That's the sensor right there. It's kind of dark. We're gonna see if we can take it out. Seems like it's a new sensor. It doesn't seem that old. To do a back pressure test on the catalytic converter in the front here. This is the easiest one, so that's why we're gonna do this first. And these are 10mm bolt here for this plastic cover here. We're gonna take it out to have a better access to the connector. This one and this one here. 10mm bolt right there. The other ones are on this side here on the that's one right there, and here there is another one here. That's I think that's a clip. Yeah, that's a clip right there. It seems like it's coming out. It's plastic, Phillips. Gonna check beneath the vehicle again. All right, and there is the transmission right there, visible. That's the connector of the sensor right there, and that's the sensor right there. We already put the socket on it. We're gonna get it out from the top of the engine. Now we're gonna take out the sensor right there. Yeah, exactly. And there is the sensor right there. We're gonna do a back pressure test on the sensor, and that is the hole right there. And right now we're gonna put the pressure gauge to do the back pressure test. My friend is going beneath the car to see if we have a better access there.
Okay, good. Now, where you got, Mama? ¿Tienes café? Sí, aquí está. Sí, sí,
We got to put it right there. We're just gonna tighten it a little bit. And if everything is fine with the catalytic converter, if pressure is not created by the gas, by the catalytic converter, this should not move from there, but if it goes up, then it should be creating pressure. So we're ready to do the test. Let's see. And as you can see, it's not creating pressure, so that catalytic converter should be good. Now this one is the one on the front. We gotta do the one on the back. Písele un poquito de gas. My friend is ripping up the engine and nothing happened, so everything should be fine with the catalytic converter. And I did not get in camera. We took this 12mm bolt here, so this can be a little flexible for the radiator supports here. I'm gonna put the sensor back.
Now it's tight.
Ready?
Yep.
Beautiful. Just make sure when you put in this sensor back, do not twist the wires. They are very sensible to be damaged when the wires are twisted, so be careful with them. All right, now we have done is after we took out after we installed the sensor back in the front of the vehicle, the O2 sensor. Now we disconnected the intake here, mass airflow sensor here, barometric sensor, and this is 10mm bolt. This clamps here, just clamps. This is very easy, and the clips here, and take it out. And now my friend is gonna place his hand, his right hand right here, and at the same time himself is gonna go with his left hand on the other side to see if he can grab the connector and disconnect the sensor, the O2 sensor that is behind the intake manifold. So maybe we can take out the sensor without removing the intake right there, because we have to turn on the vehicle anyway after we do to do the pressure back pressure test. And we got the connector. We disconnected from here. My friend placed his hand over here, right hand, and his left hand on the other side. So he grabbed the connector from both sides and he got it out. We put the extension here already, and we already lose it. We did not show it on camera because it's just impossible from here underneath the vehicle. That's the rack and pinion right there, and once you place your hands over here, you cover everything, so there's no way to record. So we disconnected from the top, and we getting it out of here, out of there, from beneath the engine. It hardly can be seen there, so everything should be fine right now. And after that, we still got to put the pressure gauge to do the back pressure test. Temporarily, we're gonna put the intake right there to turn on the vehicle. We already installed the pressure gauge and the O2 sensor port. Put in the small hoses right there, connecting them back. Hold on. Now this is the pressure gauge here. We already installed it on the O2 sensor port, and it's behind the intake right there. Písele gas un poquito. It's not creating pressure. So it's still in zero. See, the needle is dancing, but still not creating pressure. The engine is still breathing, and this should be okay, still okay. So because it's not creating a pressure. And next, I'm gonna be testing the ignition coil packs for a spark, and let's see how everything comes out. Hope the camera can pick that up. It has a good spark right there. So we're gonna go to the next one. And now we're gonna do the next one. My friend is gonna connect this part, goes in the spark plug right there, and this goes here on the ignition coil pack. And also has a good spark. So we're gonna go to the next one right now. And that also has a good spark right there. The three of them are very good. Probably some codes are gonna be stored right now, maybe in the computer and the PCM, but because we disconnected them. Compression test. This is a regular compression test, not a leak down test. So I disconnected the ignition coil packs, and also we disabled the fuel system.
Yeah.
And that's about 160. That is okay, no problem with that. So we're gonna go to the next one. And because this has come out good, I'm not gonna put oil on the cylinder, on the piston, because probably it will go a little bit higher if I put some oil, engine oil, but I won't, because the compression is okay. So we're gonna go to the next one.
Yeah. Más o menos, little less.
Así que estos, right now that was the last one, and it also came out good, above 150, between 150 and 175. So now we still gotta work on the back of the engine, but that's kind of a little more difficult because of the intake, because everything is good here on the front. Two 10mm bolts right there. We're gonna take out the intake manifold. We want to get to the ignition coil packs and the rear and the bank one. Gonna disconnect the battery here, and we're gonna take this out here. Those are three 10mm nuts. And we have to remove this 10mm bolt here, and this connector here. Now this 10mm bolt is for this bracket here. We're gonna remove it.
Okay, ready.
I'm gonna take out the battery so we have more space here. That is 8mm bolt right there. We're taking it out. That's a bracket that is bolted to the intake manifold and then to the engine block.
Okay.
And now we're gonna detach the EGR valve from the intake manifold right there. Two 12mm bolts. That one right there and another one on the other side. Va. Oh sí, el entrado de veras.
Ok, ya.
Sácalo.
Ya puedes.
Ya cuando lo traiga ahí afuera.
Okay.
Now we're gonna remove the 8mm bolts right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for the intake manifold.
Ready. Okay, we got how many? 6 screws.
Yeah, 6 bolts. Yeah.
Okay, now we got disconnected. Okay.
And we're gonna remove these hoses, all these hoses here right now, just basically small clamps. This is supposed to be done before, and we forgot it. We removed those bolts already, but it's not a problem. But remove these hoses first from the throttle body here.
You can put like this.
All right, beautiful.
Oh, lucky, no have water. Wow.
Yeah, sometimes they leak, sometimes they don't. Yeah, we better disconnect it from there. Yeah.
Okay, that's
All
right.
right. And now we're gonna take out this hose that goes to the brake booster right there.
Okay.
The intake is ready to come out. So right now we're gonna check the spark on this ignition coil packs here on the rear, cylinder head number 1, the same way we did it here on the front, on the cylinder head number 2. We're gonna put a cover right there to cover the intake manifold holes right there to be safe. All right, and right now we're gonna test the spark right there. That's the first ignition coil pack in the rear.
Good. Yeah.
My friend says there is spark. Beautiful. So the ignition coil pack has been tested already. All right, we're gonna test the other one right now, the one in the middle.
Good.
The ignition coil pack is also good. It has very strong spark. All right, now we're gonna test the last one here on this side.
No, no, stop. No power.
Ah,
No power.
right now.
No.
Listo. Go. Yeah. As you guys saw already, this ignition coil pack is not throwing any spark. It has no spark at all. Nothing. We get the feeling that this is the problem. That we have found the problem, but now I don't know if it's the spark, if it's the ignition coil pack, or the wire. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch another ignition coil pack to here to rule out the wires. That's the first thing we're gonna do right now.
Now we can try again. Okay.
Okay, solo que se vea ya. All right, we're gonna test this one right now and see what happens. See if the problems are on the wires or the ignition coil pack with the problem. We're gonna see it.
Okay. It's having but a little pole. It's
Really?
yeah. Está tirando, pero no
Can
tira.
you go? Can you go there? I'm gonna see. Well, my friend says that it had a little bit of a spark, but not too much, not a lot. So I'm gonna try it. Vamos.
Suéltalo, suéltalo.
So it's throwing a spark. All right, definitely no spark on this one. This is a bad ignition coil pack because there is no spark. One last time. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and replace this ignition coil pack. It's damaged, it's not good, and hope we can fix the problem with this by replacing this. So we don't have to go through a compression test here on the rear cylinder head, as we did on the front cylinder head number 2. I'm not gonna do a compression test right there. I'm just gonna go ahead and replace this because I'm positive this is the problem. This minivan has lost a lot of power. It seems like it has transmission problem. Even changes gear kind of late, but it's not that transmission. I'm pretty sure this is the problem here. Lately, when gas is pushed for the van to accelerate, it doesn't want to go. It loses a lot of power. So I thought it was like a catalytic converter because it has no cuts at all. There was no catalytic converter problem. And remember, you have to disable the fuel system. In this case, I took out the relay for the fuel pump. Remember, I said that since the beginning. So no fuel is falling on top of the cylinders. because then you're gonna have serious problems. So remember, the wires are not the problems, but the ignition coil itself. Alright, this is the new one here that is going in. Still we're gonna test it. It takes just a few seconds. This is a CarQuest, and hopefully that works. And this is the part number here, CarQuest. So we're gonna test it and to make sure that that is okay. Even though it's new, but I still gotta test it. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. It's good. We proved already that that's the new ignition coil pack is good. So we're gonna go ahead and putting everything back. So we're gonna be replacing all the spark plugs and all the ignition coil packs, the three spark plugs and the 3 ignition coil packs here too, because this is the real cylinder head number 1. It's not easy to get to it, so we're gonna replace everything. And never use a cordless ratchet, anything like that, to remove the spark plugs. Always do it by hand. So we're gonna apply NSS grease. We already did on the new spark plug right there, so the spark plug shouldn't get stuck in the near future. So we're gonna show it only on that one because the same process for all of them. And make sure you pull all of them by hand. We're just gonna tie them by feeling, not really torque specification in this case. Alright, we already installed the new spark plugs and the rear cylinder head and also the ignition coil packs. They all brand new. We just cleaned it on top of the intake manifold gasket right there just before installing putting the intake manifold. And now that the intake manifold is coming in, do not forget about connecting that hose right there for the intake manifold that goes in the rear. And we're gonna start putting by hand all the bolts, 8mm bolts for the intake manifold right there, 6 of them, and make sure they all go inside by hand first before tightening them. The bolts for the ignition coil packs are also 8mm bolts. We have already finished the job here, and we have to test the vehicle right now. We replaced all the ignition coil packs, the 3 in the rear and here in the front. We also replaced all the spark plugs. Remember, the ignition coil pack in the rear, one of them was bad, so hopefully that was the problem. So we're gonna turn on the vehicle right now. Alright, and that's the engine running right there. It's running very smoothly with no problem. Very smooth. So the ignition coil pack was the problem in the rear. But remember, I also had to do a back pressure test on the catalytic converters because they were suspected components for me. But however, nothing of that was the problem. The problem was the ignition coil pack. So but at this point, both catalytic converters are still fine. Thanks for watching the video and God bless you all. Gracias por ver el video y que Dios los bendiga a todos.